These are a couple of the knives that I carry in my pouch. This is a Columbia River M16 13Z, and it's good, sturdy little carbon steel folder. It's also got a little locking mechanism that slides in and out to reinforce the liner lock. I keep this in my pocket. I don't typically take this out at work just because I don't need to draw too much attention. I got hollered at for pulling out a folder for some other project a while back, and now I just keep this for emergencies and I keep it discreet. What I do use is the Victorinox tracker, and they make several versions of the tracker. You're looking for this logo. You want either Victorinox or Winger. It's not one of those, don't buy it. I like moldy tools when I don't have the option of taking any other knife. I like the idea that I have a tool with tools on it. I can use it to fix the gear that I have, or I can make other tools. This is a large one. I like it because I've got fairly big hands and it fits pretty comfortably. There are, oops, there it goes in the bushes. This is one of the Tinkers. This one I found on the ground, believe it or not. It's a smaller model. They're all good. The same tools are on all the knives, they're just different sizes. I like having a saw on mine because it's one of the things I use most often in the woods. This one is a Tinker, does not, but it does have the screwdriver, so you can do some repairs. This one is called the Super Champ, and it's a little bit too big for practical use. It's got probably about 30 different assorted tools on it. Magnifying glass, blade, pliers. They're all good tools, but it's bulky and it is a pain to find things. Fire starting tools. I don't know if you can see this against my jacket. My personal preference here is the Light My Fire models. I've just never had a problem, never had an issue with them working. For fire starting equipment, this would be my first recommendation. These are just utterly reliable. You still need practice with them. For commercial lighters, there's a couple of different routes. None of them are good, none of them are bad. This is a cheap, clear lighter. It's nice because you can see the fluid that's in there. However, the wheels tend to break on these things. This is a Bic lighter. Now you can't see through it, but if you hold it up to the light, you can actually see the fluid level. So if you're going to buy these, buy the white ones. Bics tend to be a bit more hardy than cheap lighters. This is a little, I don't know if you can see the flame on here, butane lighter. These are nice because they're windproof. Butane and any of the lighters will become problematic in really cold weather, but these are handy because they're windproof and they're refillable, which the Bics and the cheap lighters are not. Old-fashioned Zippo, not recommended for the outdoors. They're fun to play with. I used to smoke, so I've got a pile of them floating around. The problem here is that the wick material is not airtight, so once you fill it, it starts drying out. When you need it, it's not going to work. We also have waterproof matches. Again, you need to keep they're waterproof matches. Keep them in a case where you're not going to lose them. Take them out one at a time so you don't accidentally spill them out on the ground. A couple of fire starters. This is some commercial stuff, and this is a homemade paraffin and cotton balls and wax. This is one of those things you need to practice with because you're going to find out real fast they don't light with a spark. You have to have a live flame. So test your gear out before you take it on the trail. Okay, here's what's in the front of the pouch. Shortfire tactical flashlight. Brighter than all bright, however it will go through the batteries pretty quickly. I had the GPS, I do also have a compass. GPS batteries die. GPS tends to lose the signal. You get under the tree line out here and you can't get a signal and you're stuck, so you need a compass. Practice with a compass. This one I attached a whistle to it. This particular model's got a sighting mirror on the back, which can also double as an emergency signal mirror if, it's not going to work here because I'm in the wrong light, if you're lost. Silva, this is a good brand. A couple of energy bars. Dr. Scholl's moleskin if you get a blister on your foot. Eye drops, I think I did those already. Another smaller keychain flashlight. This is a Phoenix model. And lip balm. Spare aspirin. Spare batteries for the GPS or the flashlight. I use the same model so that if one dies I have one set of batteries to cover everything. Tincture of iodine. This is for either disinfecting a cut or for water purification. To be careful because some people are allergic to iodine, so you need to know that ahead of time. This is just Donald Duck. He's here for my amusement. I also put him in pictures for scale because he's about 2 inches tall. It's thunder out here, so it's going to be a fun day. These are some miscellaneous items. I've talked pretty much, too much for this part. Thank you for watching if you've been sticking with me this far. Little camera. I'm a shutterbug, so I don't go out without my little digital camera. This is an Olympus Stylus 760, and I have a little Wits case that I've been using for years because it just happened to fit in there. I'm disappointed they don't make this model anymore because I'd buy another one right now if they did. And this little camera's water resistant, it's an outdoors model, it's been beaten to death and still keeps functioning. Miscellaneous items. This is actually a little lanyard that goes on the Victorinox Trekker. Fox 40 whistle, little keychain flashlight, the previously mentioned fire starting light my fire tool, and this, which is a homemade pace counter. For every 100 paces I slide a pace up, and when I get to 500 paces slide a bead over, and I can just keep track of how distance traveled. This little tool is called the Artifact. It's made by Gerber, so I can get it out without cutting a finger off. It doesn't use a conventional knife blade, it just uses number 11 X-Acto blades. It's nice because if you can take them out and replace them when they wear out. It has a little bottle opener, which is pretty nice, and this end is a kind of a Phillips screwdriver. I don't know if you can see it, and there's a flathead on this side. This little notch I thought was a nail puller. It turns out it's a wire stripper, and if you could see it from this angle, it's a bit dark on my dark jacket. It's angled at the tip so you can use it as a pry bar. Handy little pocket tool for your bug out bag. Oops, there it goes. I'll get back to find all the gear I've dropped. Columbia River guppy, little guppy, excuse me. Nice little tool. It's got a nice little carbon steel blade. It's got a pocket clip. It's got an adjustable wrench head. The tip of the shaft turns into a Phillips screwdriver, and there's a flathead on the back. little carbiner clip. On that I added a keychain whistle and I forget who makes this now. It's the Windstorm. This is probably one of the loudest ultimate survival technologies, I think. It's bigger than a normal kit-sized whistle, but this is one of the loudest whistles I've ever heard of. In fact, it hurts my ears to use it. And that's it for this part. I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to go down the trail here a little bit. Thanks.